we should be, but just give me a second. Yeah, I think we're live. All right, welcome everyone to what is this now? Our fourth stream, I think. So there's a lot to talk about. I have kind of been MIA for 2 weeks, although I guess I did post one video, but yeah, welcome everyone. As always, we're not gonna really wait for people since there's currently no point. But I guess we'll get right into it. Before we get into Go Rush and anything to do with that, I do want to talk about. I think this should switch screens. Yes, here we go. We're going to talk a little bit about the ban list that Rush Duels got last week. Ironically, there was a tournament right when this happened, but I think this was a pretty solid list overall. I think, comparing this to Master Duel, both formats had a tier 0 format currently, and it just shows the difference, I think, in both formats, where Master Duel basically had to ban and limit the entire deck, and it's still functioning okay, while Rush Duels had to limit 2 cards, and the deck, again, it's definitely still strong, but I think it gives a lot of other decks potential, and that's kind of what I always like. I don't like when ban lists completely kill a deck, but I think this is really solid. I wish Secret Order, at least if they put it to 2, that's kind of what I wish they did. But yeah, I think the rest of the list is fine. Barrier Statue to 1. You could have also just banned that card because it's not healthy, even in a format that normal summons a lot. I mean, we have fusions, we have maximums, we have Cyber Dragon, right? And Execute special summons a lot. So that card really just is still so annoying. And unless you were playing a Pyro deck, you didn't feel any repercussions from that. So I do think that just getting completely rid of Barrier Statue would have been even better, but putting it to 1, lowering the consistency, I think that's great, and that's how they should be going, moving forward. The rest of the stuff is just kind of stopping some loops and everything, so I think that part is completely fine. The main hits here are to Execute and Barrier Statue. So yeah, I think the list is solid. There wasn't too much, so I don't want to spend too much time on that. But let's go back to the main screen here. So Go Rush had a lot of news. First, I guess let's talk about what was actually. You know what? Let's talk about the episode first, because if you don't want to know any season 2 stuff, I would recommend you after that moving away. But first, we're gonna talk a little bit about 49 and 50. I usually put these to the end, but since there is a major spoiler that we got 2 days ago, I think this fits more. There is part of me that did worry when we got both 49 and 50. I kind of felt like for a second, is doing this Otis Yuga thing again, where they're piloting these big ships and using their friends' aces. Is that the best idea? But I mean, so far it's working really well, and I'm really enjoying the episode so far. I do wonder how they're gonna finish this. I do think that Yuga will probably lose, since we know Damamu is going to be using the new was twins fusion, right, to Rex and Bluetooth. Or I guess it won't even be Damamu using it. It'll probably just be the twins. And Yuga has like 400 life points left, so he's probably gonna have one big swing with all the aces, and then just pass to Damamu. He's gonna, or to, I guess, the twins, they're gonna just somehow summon their aces and then fuse. I will say the only thing I didn't really like about the whole Yuga moment, obviously him summoning the aces was incredible. That was probably the best part of this finale we had so far. But I don't really like how scripted it felt. Like, obviously we knew it was going to be scripted, but the fact that Yuga drew both Prima Gitarna and Yami Ruler, in a row, and then even before that he drew both Dragius and Seventh Road. That's what I don't really like. I mean, you can make some stuff up, like it's up the power of friendship or whatever, or just his will, but realistically, I didn't really love the fact that he literally just Destiny drew both cards. But I mean, that is kind of just a nitpick. Overall, it was so cool to see all of them seeing the chants, right? The Lug and Manabu basically sounding the exact same as, their Gorash counterparts, but Rovian sounding a little bit differently than Roman, kind of switching things up in that last chant. That was really, really cool. Udius's last turn, I mean, that chant for Galactica Oblivion, I mean, you can tell that he's just being really, really serious right now. And I love that. I feel like, we have been waiting for Udius to get a bit more serious, and he normally always is in the arc finales, right? He doesn't mess around there so much. But whenever Zvijo is involved, then you know that Udius is kind of completely just moving all fun out, and not even that, but it's like Udius has tried to reason with Zvijo for so long, and let's not kid ourselves here. Zvijo did try to kill Udius at the end, like he tried to kill everyone. So I don't really think. I just feel like Udius was basically done with Zvijo's shit in some ways, you could say. So yeah, I love it. He just had such a serious Galactica Oblivion chant where he's done messing around, and probably these last few turns Udius is just going to be completely serious, and who knows, season 2 Udius might be a completely different character. I mean, it wouldn't shock me whatsoever. The other big, obviously, part was the Relic. And for those who didn't watch Sevens, these last 2 episodes were probably just okay for you, but to kind of go over it, first things first, I do feel like the person standing in front of that relic at the start was either Zvijo or that guy. We'll not call him, the other name yet. I think it has to be one of those two, right? I mean, you could say, it could be one of the other people from the Sevens book, sure, but I just feel like it has to be those two. And that goes even further with the seventh book being not exactly quoted, but almost identical to the seventh version, where they in the seventh version, I think it was like the moon in the sky, while in the Go Rush version it's like the crescent solar body, right? Some like that. Some like uh, a planet that's above the above Earth, something like that. I can't exactly remember the quote, but they just kind of slightly changed it. It's also like they changed, warrior, but in the book it was like a young person is gonna appear, right? And in the relic we had here, it's a warrior will appear. So something in the relic has either been altered at some points, or there's multiple relics. I do feel like the relic has been altered, but the question is if this is the proper past, right, and it's not an alternate universe. The question becomes, at what point was it altered, right? Like, is the original one the one we're seeing here, and then someone altered it to the version that you guys saw in sevens, or is it the opposite? Is it that I mean, I think that's more likely, but who knows, right? I mean, we know that Valgyrians were on Earth a long time ago, right? We learned that at the end of Arc 2, because they were the people who basically turned Matsuba into a spaceship, right? A few Valgyrians were there a long time ago, so could they be the people who maybe messed with the relic? We don't know, but I do believe that the people that were standing in front of that relic are Yuga or Otis. But I mean, who knows, right? Who knows? And the cool part about all this now is that now these two shows are completely connected. I mean, you kind of have to watch Sevens if you want to get the full picture of this. I mean, obviously the people who watched Sevens can explain some stuff to people who are watching Go Rush, kind of like how I did now, but I still feel like, both that and these moments like summoning the old aces, it just does boost the experience a lot more. Now, obviously, how much more of a role will Sevens have after season 1? We'll have to wait and see. It depends on how tomorrow's episode ends, but yeah, I mean, that was just really great 2 episodes, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen tomorrow. But we're not going to go on for much longer. There isn't really much of a point, but now we have to go over what we got 2 days ago. And for people who haven't seen this and don't want to be spoiled, I would recommend leaving, although, well, I will just say that. You can leave real quick. But yeah, I guess let's start. Even though I guess there was technically spoilers on screen the whole time. But for those who did stay and didn't see, 2 days ago we got the commercial for the new versus pack Maximum Force. And in that commercial, we see Phaser and UDS basically battling each other. And Phaser summons the monster you're seeing on screen right now, Abyss Poseidra. And UDS summons the new Magnum Overload. It's full steam Magnum Overload. I can't remember the full name, but so some people ask, oh, could it just be marketing, right? They're putting anime characters on there. They could, but it's now been confirmed by UDS's VA that that's not the truth. UDS's voice actor said on Twitter that Maximums are finally arriving in the world of Go Rush. But even then, I feel like UDS and Phaser wouldn't be the people you would put in the commercial, right? I mean, maybe you could put UDS, but you would put UDS maybe to be the one using Poseidra, because the fact that you would have a overroad, right, and not give it to Yuga, that just would be weird to me, right? If you're using anime characters to promote a pack and you have an overroad in that pack, you would make more sense to put Yuga in it. And not only that, but we haven't even seen Phaser yet. So like, how that doesn't, it would make me more hype to put like Zuijo or someone else there, because Phaser we don't know yet, right? I mean, if this was maybe a season 2 pack or something, then sure, fine, but we haven't seen the character at all, right? We just have the photos from Jump Festa. So promoting the pack that way wouldn't make sense unless this was his actual deck. And I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that it is. As to why UDS has Galactic Oblivion, that's again something I feel like it's fairly obvious, right? Like, the simple explanation is just Phaser is gonna probably just summon this in the first duel. He's gonna probably defeat UDS using it, and they're gonna try to figure out a way to get a maximum fast, and then that guy is just gonna, make a Magnum Overload and give it to UDS. I think that isn't really even in question, right? Like, why else would UDS have an overload, right? Because most people would recommend or think that we would get a Galaxy monster, but if it's a card made by that guy, yeah, 99% it's just gonna be an overload. So, yeah, really, really cool that we're finally getting maximums in Go Rush. I mean, you can say, oh, I don't like the mechanic, and that's fine, but it is the most unique thing that Rush duels have. Sure, the drawing 5 and 3 zones, whatever, but mechanic-wise, maximums are the Rush duel exclusive thing, and having a Rush duel show not have that, and also not having any other Rush duel exclusive. Like, if they made another unique summon, then sure, you don't need a maximum, right? Because that's kind of how a lot of times they do things, right? I mean, specifically Zexal. Zexal basically had nothing. It had fusions, but that was it. And it had like 1, right? So they could have done it that way. But yeah, no, I think this makes total sense. And some people are going to get mad, obviously, especially since they probably could have waited like at least 1 week to do this. But yeah, I think overall this is really cool, and I'm very excited to see more from Phaser. And we are also getting a new opening next week. It'll probably leak a little bit before the episode airs. But yeah, that's kind of it. That's most of the news. Again, I don't like really stretching these streams. There isn't really a point in doing that. If there was more news, we would talk about it, but that's kind of it. I will say in, I think, what it would be, 3-4 weeks, we will be starting our reviews and videos for the new Pokemon anime as well. So that's gonna be cool. And we also, I'm still considering if I should do it for the Beyblade Quad Strike anime or not, and if I do, in what way I'll do it. That's something I'll still see, but for the Pokemon anime, yeah, 100% I'm making videos on that. But yeah, thank you guys for coming to the stream, or if you're in the VOD, thank you guys for watching the stream. And I guess I'll see you guys next week for my episode and overall Season 1 review.